Double, double, toil and trouble. Something wicked this way comes. Creepy bookworms, we are back with another edition of Creepy Book Club. And tonight we are discussing The Odd Sisters by Serena Valentino, continuing the Disney Villains book series. And of course, as always, I have with me the Wicked Witch of the East, my fellow creepy bookworm sister, Martha, aka Gretchen.
Hello!
Hello,
sister!
Hello, sister. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, it's nice to see you too.
Yes.
Where's our other sister?
Well, I was just going to say there are witches 3. Who is our third sister, you may be asking? Well, it is none other than Lucinda herself, played by James H. Carter II.
Hello! I have arrived! Lucinda is here! You may begin the program!
Thank you, Sister Lucinda. As you can tell, there's going to be all kinds of creepy shenanigans tonight. I'm so excited. Before we get started, shenanigans, sister.
We shall be doing some shenanigans.
Shenanigans?
Yes!
Oh, the shenanigans. Yes. But I think that James, they're loving your Lucinda. It's a hit already.
But Lucinda's here!
My dear sister Lucinda has joined
We
us.
love mayhem, Lucinda.
Well, mayhem we shall bring!
Yes. To gain all the power.
You're the host. Go ahead. I'm hogging the attention. Go ahead.
All the power of all the realms. Yes. But Lucinda is our fearless leader after all. So I wanted to start off, though. We need to give a huge happy birthday shout out to the author of this series that we are loving so much, Miss Serena Valentino.
Happy birthday!
Our mother. Happy birthday, Serena.
Happy birthday, Serena. We love you.
Serena was cut into 3, and we were birthed from that. Is that how the story goes?
Yeah. Yes. She took all the most wicked parts of herself and she placed them within us. Sonia says, "Hi, Lucinda." Oh, Melissa, it's okay if you didn't read the book. You can be part of all the mayhem and madness.
Why didn't you read our book?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Lucinda, you got to keep it up the rest of the show. You got to give the people what they want.
I am a crowd pleaser.
You better get a lozenge.
I hope that you brewed some tea, dear sister.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to sip the tea tonight.
That's right. All the tea shall be drunken. There she is!
Hello, Serena.
Welcome.
Lucinda's giving me life. I love it.
You give me life. I give you life. It's a life cycle.
She gave us all life. We are alive because of her. All right.
Of life.
It is
Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
we haven't messed with them yet.
I know. Yeah, I'll say we haven't entered the realms of the Pride Land.
No.
Lucinda is a flippin' fox. My sister is quite foxy, I shall say.
Yes.
Loving the
I can't
hair.
deny that.
No one can. Serena's cracking up at us right now. This is all you're doing, Serena. You made this all possible. All to life.
She's like, I take no responsibility for that one. This is
like,
not what I had in mind.
Is this what you were thinking of?
This is what you had in mind?
Is this what you had in mind?
I
Are you not entertained?
All right,
Lucinda has a bit of a
James is
social
coming through.
problem.
All right, okay, all right. Hey everyone, thanks for welcoming me to the show. I'm so excited to be back on the Creepy Book Club. We're gonna have a great time.
Yes, I'm so excited. Now to get started though, James. So obviously Gretchen and I have been discussing the series ongoing. I think the only episode that we did together was covering The Beast Within, right?
Yes,
for the series. Okay.
That's true.
Yes. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, kind of like overall on the story leading up to Odd Sisters before getting to Odd Sisters.
Wow, thanks for putting me on the spot. Jeez.
You don't have to retell the whole story. Just like, what are your overall
here's my overall thoughts is that I love, first of all, I love going through the stories that we already know and love, and seeing them from the villain's perspective. Obviously, we're here at Creepy Kingdom. We like the dark, creepy side of Disney and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a pleasure to be able to go retell the stories from the villain's perspective. And it's really an awesome added bonus to tie together the villains through the Odd Sisters. I mean, it's the villain's story perspective which gets you in, but it's really the Odd Sisters story throughout. I can try to pretend you're not watching Serena. No, but it's really the Odd Sisters story throughout that has really intrigued me and got me really excited to take in this book. So there's my brief recaps thoughts of the story thus far. And I do want to say that I would not do this makeup and cosplay thing for anyone. I was dared to do this somehow. I had to publicly mention this. I'm not sure how this came to be. I know it started on the last book club, but since you have enhanced our story, if you enhanced some of our favorite characters, Serena, I was like, I gotta give back. I gotta dress up as Lucinda on the show. So this is for you, Serena, particularly because if anyone knows me, I'm not usually dressing up like this these days. Maybe in my youth, but
I was gonna say, don't lie, James. You had that wig already, okay?
I had the wig already. No.
I'll just dust it off.
I also want to say, when we said we were going to do this, and I said that I wanted to be Lucinda, I was really expecting some pushback on that, and you two were just like, "Sure, yeah, whatever." And so I was like, "Fine, I'll be Lucinda." And that was before reading the book.
Strong feelings about being Lucinda.
I did, but that was before reading the book. And now, no spoilers because we didn't get to the spoiler part yet. But after reading the book, I was like, "You're very welcome, Serena." After reading the book, I was like, "Oh wow, like Lucinda's the one." So I feel like I have some big witchy shoes to fill.
Yeah, me and Gretchen were like, you fully take that responsibility. That's fine with us. Be the fearless leader of the trio. We're okay with that.
I will, but you're the fearless leader of this live stream, so I'm gonna let you take the cauldron wheel.
Oh, the cauldron ladle.
I don't know. I saw somehow the turning the cauldron is also steering a ship. In my brain,
it works.
It's a witch ship. You steer it with a cauldron.
I'm gonna hang my head out the witch ship.
Oh, I love it. Oh, and then I saw Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hello, and we're making Serena's night. You're making our night. This is so much fun. So to get started, as always, we always start with our spoiler-free reaction to the book. So just in case there are folks who are watching that just want to get a little taste of the book, kind of get a feel for what it's like, before they dive in, we'll start with spoiler-free. And then we will let you know, full spoiler alert, when we are ready to dive into major spoilers. Baba Yaga does that. All right, so I'm going to start with my Wicked Witch of the East, Miss Martha. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
I absolutely loved the Odd Sisters from the moment they stepped in and started screwing with Snow White. Like, I was like, these ladies are awesome, and it was really exciting to learn. Like, you know, we know all the other characters. We know who the Evil Queen is. We know who Ursula is. We don't know who the Odd Sisters are. So I was really like enthralled with their little backstory and how they kind of evolved and grew as characters. And I think that it's like a perfect little signature kiss on these stories. And I love them. I think they're great.
All right, James. What are your spoiler-free thoughts about the Odd Sisters?
Spoiler-free thoughts on this book. It wasn't what I was expecting, which is always good. I thought that it was... one of my favorite things about reading these books is just, since we already have a basis for some of the characters and some of the settings, it's really easy to visualize it and to fill in the blanks. And I really felt that as this story progressed, I was a fly on the wall, particularly in this story, since it's not a retelling of a story we already know. So I wasn't quite sure where it was going, but I loved it. It was a fun ride, and I want to talk spoilers because I don't know what else to say about it. That's not a spoiler.
Now, the non-spoiler review tends to be very short for those tuning in right now, just so you know, because we're ready to dive in.
I have nothing profound, non-spoiler to say.
Got it. And for me, what I will say, non-spoiler, similar to James, this book was it was interesting because it was sort of the first in the series where we didn't kind of already know the story. So, usually with all the other Disney villains, we kind of are like, I kind of get where this is heading. I understand, these familiar characters and what parts they play. So having a book just about the Odd Sisters, I didn't go in with any sort of pretense of what was about to happen. It was its own unique story while still building upon and connecting to every other story that came before it. And so it was really well done. I think it was almost like an Avengers Endgame of like all these, previous, fairy tales culminating in this story. And there were a lot of revelations, a lot of holy crap moments while I was reading it. So if you like some twists and turns, some shockers, you are in for quite a ride with this book. I will say that. Spoiler free.
I have something else spoiler free to add.
Oh, yes.
Someone left a comment on one of our posts promoting this live stream saying, I haven't read the other books. Do I need to read it before this one? And I was like, well, for optimal enjoyment, yes, you should, because it ties all these other stories together. But I felt that the story was strong enough that it was a good adventure all on its own. I think that you can kind of fill in the blanks if you don't know. And I also feel like this story does a lot of recapping of key moments in the earlier books that it could be enjoyable on its own. And I think that's a mix of good. It's like, it's good on both levels. It's good that that people can get a payoff for reading the earlier books, or people can just dive in and still enjoy it. Unlike, I wouldn't say it's an Endgame, because I say if you've never watched an MCU movie and you start with Endgame, I'm not sure that you would really get that much out of it. I think it's really predicated on watching all 50 movies that come before it. But that's another topic.
That's true. I think that is fair, because it does do a great job of recapping and kind of letting you know how the Odd Sisters tied into all the fairy tales that they reference. So yeah, you definitely could read Odd Sisters alone and not be completely in the dark, confused as to what's happening. But I will say, I think a lot of moments have more impact if you've already read the previous books. Like the certain revelations and like shocking things that I was mentioning, I don't think they would be shocking revelations to you had you not read the previous books.
Not at all. No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you'd probably be like, oh, okay.
It's like an answer to a question, but you didn't know the question yet. Like you
Right.
hadn't had a chance to form that question.
Exactly. That's a good way to explain it. All right. So Martha looks like a porcelain. She does look like a beautiful porcelain doll. So
It's
cute.
all in the lighting.
All right. So this is your official spoiler warning. If you have not read the book and you do not want, and Martha, your lipstick is absolutely perfect.
Thank you.
So
It
great.
is. I didn't even attempt to duplicate that level of perfection, Martha. Thumbs up.
Spot on.
I think we have a spoiler alert video that can get everyone ready. we'll have Peter Porker throw that up.
Okay, it's done. So that is your official spoiler warning. If you have not read the books, you might want to dip out now. Or if you haven't read the books but you like spoilers, feel free to stick around. But yeah, that's it. You get out now. You can't blame us for anything spoiled from this point forward.
Get out while you can. Time to
Get out now! Sorry. Is that really loud?
So aggressive. Very aggressive spoiler warning. Oh, good. Sarah dances to the videos too. I don't feel so bad.
Can't drop sick beats like that and not have us get our groove.
I know.
I don't know who's saying I've never been so handsome, but I agree with them 100%.
It's some Facebook user.
Thank you. Whenever it says Facebook user, it's someone in our Citizens of the Creepy Kingdom group, which are, so they're obviously already awesome. But complimenting me gives you a whole other level of awesome that you are. So shout out to you, whomever you are.
Whoever the Facebook user is. Thank you. All right. So I'm ready to dive in. I know y'all are ready to dive in. So we kind of recap as we go along. Aw, Serena, you're going to keep making us blush.
Thank you, Serena.
So sweet. Ooh, James has secret admirer on Facebook.
Secret admirer.
Oh. If you want our sister, you're going to have to go through us.
And we can be bought with lots of money.
That's one way to buy someone with lots of money.
Name your price.
What were we talking about earlier, Gretchen, when you're about listening to the next book?
Oh, because the next book's not on Audible, so I want to download it on my Kindle, and I want to hire what's her name?
It's Lucy
Rayner. I want to hire Lucy
yeah.
Rayner to come read the book to me so that I can get all the voices and everything.
I'm sure it's a very affordable thing to happen.
Yeah,
I think it's affordable, it's feasible. For 5 hours straight.
Her voice is so soothing on the audiobook. I'm like, I'm a little disappointed.
Especially when she does the Odd Sisters voices.
Yes.
Very soothing.
It's lovely. It just lulls me right to sleep.
My favorite voices are Nanny and the fairy godmother. Just
the Scottish.
I'm not even going to attempt to do a Scottish accent.
Yeah, she has an amazing Scottish accent for sure. Yeah, that's soothing to me. I'll agree.
And then all the men are like dope, 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 dope.
Yeah, Sarah says she nails it, and she does. But I digress. Ruby, take the lead.
All right. Lucinda, how gracious of you.
Just this once.
No, James really means it.
Just this one time, I'll let you do this. Otherwise, I'm in charge.
That's how James talks to me normally.
That's
all
so
the time.
Cute that James thinks he's in charge. That's adorable.
Gretchen.
Now announcing new creepy book club co-host. Now taking applications.
I'm the new Gretchen, everybody.
Awesome.
I could never feel your shoes, Gretchen. You're fine. I don't have that much spunk or personality as you do. So
I know
got
you
it.
love me.
You can't separate the Wicked Witch of the West from the Wicked Witch of the East. We cannot be separated.
I won't separate, guys. This show's gonna be 3 hours long.
You can't put James and I together. The tangents will be out of control.
All
right. So
we open the book.
Yes, we open the book. And my first note immediately was Cersei is the Odd Sister's daughter? That was literally my immediate reaction was like, what? And then as they were going on, you're realizing that this was sort of foreshadowed, right, with Maleficent and Aurora, and how Maleficent created or birthed Aurora from her, the spell to create a daughter from her magically. And so apparently the Odd Sisters created Cersei from themselves, and Cersei at one point was their sister but died very young, and so they created this daughter. James is really touched by this. He's so concerned.
It's beautiful, guys.
Were you guys just shocked? Like, what was your first reaction reading that?
Well, I kind of thought that too. It immediately sent me back to the Maleficent book, where I was like, oh, because they said in the book that, we know this works. We know this works. So it's like, how do you know this works? So it really did kind of circle it around for me. And then, I guess because their real sister had died at a young age. And she died during Maleficent's hissy fit in the woods, that that's how she died. So they recreated their own sister to move on with that. And for them to turn around and do that for Maleficent too, that kind of showed me that they really did still have they cared at that point to do that for her. It kind of brought me back to the other book. But yeah, it's like Cersei 2.0. Let's rearrange some stuff and give her some extra spice while we got her mixing up.
Yeah. What did you think, James? Lucinda.
Well, it seemed to kind of make sense that because it didn't really make sense that she was another odd sister, right? Because she didn't seem to be on the same page as the rest of the gang. So it made sense to me when the reveal was that she's actually their daughter. She
didn't fit in with the brand.
No, I mean she's and how close she was with with Snow White, and then we meet the Odd Sisters as tormentors of Snow White. It just really I was like the whole time as the story progresses, like there's a missing piece to this puzzle. That
I kind of find a wonder, why does she hate Snow White? Why do they hate Snow White so much? That to me seems like a bit of the story that maybe I haven't caught on to, or maybe it just hasn't been revealed yet. But man, they hate her. They hate her something fierce.
She had it way too together, Sarah says. It's very true. I know. Yeah, there was... I always wondered why they were so protective of Cersei, and I guess
right
to be an odd sister. Yeah, so I guess
it seemed more than sisterly love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just the fierce
more like a
protectiveness.
Motherly protection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It definitely seemed more intense. So I was wondering, why are they so intensely protective of Cersei? And then if Cersei's their sister, why? Yeah, I have the same question. Why is she polar opposite of these three odd sisters? Why has she not sort of folded into this, wicked trio? So it made a lot of sense.
We find out eventually why, but it also seems like there's not really a choice amongst the odd sisters of what path they're going to take. It seems like that they're this is what we're doing. There's no there's not a lot of individuality going on, so that kind of added to it as well. Added to the question of why or how is she their sister.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, that was like from the jump, that book opened up with that revelation. So it just punched you in the face with like, surprise, Cersei's their daughter. And then we also get a really nice recap of Cersei's story. We first meet her in the second book, The Beast Within, right? Because she was the one who was in love with the beast. He rejected her, and then the odd sisters and her cursed him to become the beast, right? When he was a Prince Adam, I think is his real name.
You don't reject our daughter.
That's right. Don't you dare turn our daughter down or break our daughter's heart. Mm-mm.
You gonna learn today.
Oh, and he learned.
See, I can't compete with Gretchen. I'm trying. But I can't keep up with you.
Oh yeah, Sarah says the prologue helped a lot. Thank you, Serena. Yeah, definitely. It was a great recap to kind of like refresh your memory, because it's a lot, we kind of, blazed through this book series up to this point. And so, it's a lot of information to take in. There's a lot of characters to get familiar with. So it was nice to sort of recap Cersei's story, what brought her to this moment. Now she's with Snow, trying to figure out how to both stop her mothers and kind of save them at the same time, right?
Little tough love.
Yes. Very tough love. So yeah, we find out too, the odd sisters, some of the odd sisters' motivation throughout the series in sort of meddling with these different villains this whole time has been Cersei. Cersei has been their primary motivation, right? In obviously we know with the Beast directly how that occurred, but with Ursula and with Mother Gothel, and they wanting access to the Rapunzels, and with Maleficent, and wanting to sort of recreate the spell and see if they could do it differently, because they obviously did the same thing where they took all the goodness out of them to create Cersei. So yeah, it was interesting to see that woven and understand their motivation a little bit more, I think.
Maleficent was here. She just wanted to say hi.
Oh, we love you, Maleficent. She's like, I heard you were talking about me.
You were speaking of me? That's a really crappy Maleficent.
She has a low register voice. Her voice is more like, you were speaking of me.
There we go. And I have the Angelina Jolie one here ready.
Oh, wow.
You were speaking of me. I have all the Maleficent Funko Pops. You're ready for the party.
That is impressive, actually. It's quite.
Why wasn't I on the Maleficent episode? Why didn't you invite me? I have all the Funko Pops.
I didn't know. Nobody informed me.
Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. I keep derailing the show. This is why I'm not on the show normally.
The tangent.
You don't even know the voices I can bring to the table, Sarah. Get ready for them.
We should just do let's create a whole audio story. We'll just write one and we'll just all voice different characters and do crazy voices.
Perfect.
Done and done.
I'm trying not to derail the show. But there is an episode on the Creepy Kingdom podcast feed of an audio drama we did about 5 years ago, which was about someone being trapped inside of It's a Small World, and then the dolls coming to life in the middle of the night. And it's absolutely incredible, if I don't say so myself.
I need to go. How have I missed that episode? I need to go watch it or listen to it.
And I've always wanted to do another audio drama since, but it was so much work that I just haven't done it. But now we have a whole new crew. 5 years ago, it was totally, that was eons ago. But now let's do another one. We just need a ridiculous scenario. And
Maybe
then
we
I'll
could
write it.
do a fanfic of the Odd Sisters.
Yes! If you want to listen to that. Yes! Yeah!
Us Odd Sisters 3.
The witch is back.
All right, I'm sorry. I keep
Sorry
derailing
to
the
have
show.
it.
I'm so bad. You gotta
That's all right.
reel me in.
All
You
right,
gotta reel me in,
well,
Ruby.
we're gonna reel this in. So, what did you all think about learning more about the Odd Sisters sort of motivation here and what was going on or underlying this whole time?
It made it more like reasonable. Like I was kind of like, oh, well, I guess if I was in their shoes and only had their options, I'd probably do the same thing. You know, I get it. You're trying to protect yourself, you know? Like it's kind of like they made horcruxes of themselves. And so they got to protect those things. So she's, you know, they're protecting their little piece of them, their little key to immortality by any means necessary. So I kind of understand that.
Serena's here for a fanfic audio drama of us.
Oh, 100%. If Serena got me to dress up like this, so she's gonna get us to do an audio drama.
That's
I was about to
because
say that
the
the author gave us
so
approval.
deliciously creepy. Like they're so creepy
good.
kingdom. Like we all instantly fell in love with them because they felt like familiar characters and they were new at the same time. They're just awesome characters.
They fit like a glove.
Like a glove. Like a black glove.
You don't need to keep this up. I
just can't even compete.
I just keep going. Don't worry about me.
Well, now Serena gave us her blessing to do a fanfic, so we will do, yes, sir, a deliciously creepy fanfic of the Odd Sisters. We'll have to come up with something and play the Sisters 3. That would be a lot of fun, actually. I would love it.
The Odd Sisters go to Hawaii on that's too much fun.
The Odd Sisters go to Disneyland and wreak havoc on the Jungle Cruise.
I was about to say we could do like the Odd Sisters try to take over the park.
Oh. That'd be awesome.
And we can make Snow White's Scary Adventures scary again. No more enchanted wishes for you, Snow.
No, Snow, because we hate you.
And I hate enchanted wishes.
I have an enchanted wish that you die.
I would love if we could meet regularly and just talk like this to each other, like offline. That would really fill me with a lot of personal joy.
I'm loving being in the Odd Sisters mode right now. I love the wig, the hair. I love the makeup. It's hard. I have like a bright light.
We have to dress like this as well, but I'm saying, yeah, we obviously have to wear the wigs and the makeup, but we should just do it for ourselves.
I'm really happy we're entertaining Serena. I love it. I love that she's cracking up at us and enjoying the show. It's so exciting. All right, so getting back into it, we were talking about the Odd Sisters motivation being Cersei and how they were, sort of manipulating all of these villains because they were sort of trying to find different ways, source different power and magic to sort of save Cersei, protect Cersei, and thus themselves in the process, right?
Yeah, you gotta look out for number one, right? So
yeah, but you get what you give, and now they're like grounded in the dreams realm, like sitting in there.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's where I'm broadcasting from. If you haven't picked up on it.
Yes.
Lucinda's still in the dream realm. Come out with the rest of us.
I didn't want to be out of the dream realm.
Oh no!
Let me out!
curls that bounce.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
I feel like we'll never be able to broadcast on Creepy Kingdom in anything but these outfits. These characters.
We're
So
here
whatever.
today to
Welcome to
serious.
Creepy Kingdom. Here's your uniform standard.
This is
Welcome
the
to
new
the
Creepy
team.
Kingdom uniform.
Here's your wig.
Your wig
That
and your
goes-
black eyeshadow. Your
That
black
goes for John too. John, we're gonna get our technical director. He's gonna have to get his standard wig, no exceptions.
None.
The co-host of the Weekly Creepy. You got to see him in a wig from now on. Sorry, I don't make the rules. All right, I do make the rules actually.
Don't you?
Hello.
Like, wait, you mean to tell me this whole
Lucinda.
time there's been no rules?
I don't know. I just been like telling you guys what to do, and you listen. I just went with it.
Wow.
Man, I feel so snowed.
You got hosed, Tommy.
I got hosed, man.
Oh my God.
We keep not talking about the story.
Anyway.
I'm just having so much fun just being on sisters.
Being on sisters is too much fun. It's too seductive.
Yeah, so many tangents.
More tangents coming up. Anyway, where were we? I'm like looking at my notes. Where were we? Okay, so then we check back in with the Odd Sisters. They're in the dream realm. And then they interestingly get confronted by a very old familiar face that we all love so much, Grimhild, the evil queen herself. And that was an interesting confrontation. I'm curious what your thoughts were.
I always like Gretchen start. Good.
Oh, okay. We're both like,
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. I found it interesting that the evil queen was no longer bound to her mirror, like because she was trapped in the big mirror at Snow White's house, and she was no longer bound to that because Snow White's not home anymore. Snow White's off flying around with Circe, having a buddy cop movie going over there, fixing their mom's stuff. So Grimhild is like got some sort of weird separation attachment thing to Snow White, and she's going to the sisters so she can get her Snow White back because I need her. She's in danger. I need her, and I found that was interesting those are who she goes to after all that they did.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that's really odd. Get it odd? No, because
Odd of these Odd Sisters.
It's odd of them. My interpretation of the Evil Queen's story was that the Odd Sisters poisoned her mind and drove her to her evilness and wanting the death of Snow. And she seemed to have escaped that a little bit towards the end of that story. So, and she seemed to be aware of it. I guess that's up for debate, whether she was aware of it or not. But it just seems strange he would go back to the people that poisoned your mind to help you connect with the person that they wanted you to kill. It's a little odd, is it?
Yeah. No, very true. Well, and I also feel like too, Grimhild seems to carry guilt. So I feel like the sense I get from her is that she almost feels like, yes, I guess the Odd Sisters manipulated her, but she feels like ultimately she allowed them to, and therefore it's her fault.
Do you think is that your interpretation, or do you think that's laid out?
That's my interpretation, at least.
Yeah.
That's sort of the feeling that I got is that she sort of has guilt for, trying to bring harm to Snow, trying to kill Snow, and because it almost seemed like, she sort of accepted accepted's the right word, her role of being trapped in this mirror, but now that she's trapped in the dream realm within this mirror, the task of her soul is to protect Snow. And and that's, she sort of accepted that responsibility in relation, I think, to her guilt over what happened. That could just be my interpretation. But yeah.
All right, I'll buy it.
I like that. I still don't know why they would hurt somebody who screwed them over. Like I'm just like, maybe, and the only thing I can kind of think of on that world is, well, maybe because they're the only ones that could help her. Like they're the only ones that are like powerful enough to help her. So you kind of got to eat some crow. And
well, as far as the evil queen knows, right? She doesn't know anyone else. So yeah, that is a valid point.
Oh, Serena said I was right.
Ooh!
Wow, we're never going to leave this one down, are we?
Hit that nail on the head.
Like, well, every time I say you might be wrong about something,
Martha's right too.
Wow. Oh, both you guys, you're just gonna always be like, yeah, doesn't matter. I'm correct because that one time on that one live stream, Serena said I was.
Serena said I was right, so. All right. So then after this, we get into a flashback. So if you're familiar with the previous books, Serena likes to change it up and give us some flashbacks and flash forwards, shake up the timeline a little bit. So we got to see a bit of the birth of the Odd Sisters, how they came to be, which was a very interesting revelation. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I found that to be really, like, they started talking about the Queen of the Dead, and they started talking about Nestas and Mania, and I was like, oh, we recognize those. We recognize those names from the Mother's Knows Best. So that was really exciting.
Hello, Gabriel. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I have to respond to the comments.
Also, Rachel's Adventures was sent by Gretchen.
Oh, yeah,
I saw. Hello. But yeah, as you were saying.
So I was Rachel. Really like, for me, when it was revealed that, she's related to the Queen of the Dead, so like there kind of were sisters de Gothel, kind of, and it was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like of how they were able to get into the Dead Woods and how they knew all of the stuff that should be there. Like, I found that was really, it was very fitting.
What was the question?
I love that James got so in character. He forgot that we were discussing the book.
I went off on a whole other adventure in my head for the past few minutes. Oh, the birth of the Odd Sisters.
The birth of the Odd Sisters.
So,
the creation of the Odd Sisters.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, was the fact that the Odd Sisters came from Lucinda. She was ripped into three. That was nuts. And again, it made sense because Martha and Ruby just kind of just seemed to not have just full personalities and not really voice themselves. They're just really following Lucinda's lead all the time. And so when that revelation came out that they were that Lucinda was split into three, I was like, wow, like all their previous actions made sense. So I really
and how they like
reveal.
Talk over each other because they all.
Oh yeah. They always like we're doing right now, talking over you. No, but I meant like they finish each other's sentences and all that stuff. You're just like, wow, and they move at the same time and all this stuff. I always picture the Hocus Pocus, witches when I picture them walking around and moving because they're just like constantly in sync. But they're literally in sync because they are one split into three. What a revelation!
What a revelation! Yes, Lucinda, we were birthed from you, Lucinda.
Obviously, you could tell physically how that happened.
created Tanitia and Gretchen by splitting James into 3. And
Well, I kind of look at you two as, you know, the yin and yang of my personality. So I guess that all does kind of make sense. It all comes together by being split apart.
Yes,
John's right. I really do resemble Robert Smith more than anything. It's not what I was going for, but I keep thinking it. So John said that before we started the show. So.
It was a dark time in the 80s when Lucinda discovered punk and alt, and she just got into the Cure, and we never got her back.
Didn't stop. Yeah, she just didn't stop.
Yeah. Right.
That's going to be a prequel series. I'm sure Serena's going to announce that soon. Is Lucinda in the 80s?
Actually, this all goes together because the Cruella film that's coming out with, that's like set around that time.
Right.
Someone's in love with
I'm thinking that's John. That's under Creepy Kingdom. Says Lucinda, I'm in love. Well, obviously, John's been flirting with me all week, and we have a code of conduct here at Creepy Kingdom, and you need to keep it professional. I know that it's hard when I look this good. Oh my God, Love Cats is his favorite song. Wow,
appropriate.
I was struggling for some kind of joke like that, and I couldn't do it. And then the creator comes through again,
dropping the mic on you.
Awesome.
I was like, "What's a Cure song that ties in with the Ozzes?" And I literally was drawing a blank. But
Flans.
Yes,
Flans is another one. I'm anxious to hear where Flans came from because she is a very interesting cat. Like
a very powerful cat, surprisingly, which we're going to talk about.
Yes. Sorry, I got excited.
I know. Yeah. I love powerful cats, magical cats. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, all that good stuff. Anyway,
I just like regular cats personally.
You like your cats without magical powers? Oh, okay. What a sad life you lead.
Wow.
So yes,
that cut a little deep there, Tanitia. That wasn't even Ruby speaking. That was Tanitia talking to James.
It's like he doesn't even like magical cats. Mm-mm.
You got to keep going, Tanitia. You can't let me keep derailing you.
All right. It's hard because I'm a tangent queen as well.
I know.
So the sisters were split into 3 by their grandmother. He wanted to fulfill a prophecy, and that witches. My understanding was they were more. There was some sort of magical power in the number of 3. So by creating or turning Lucinda into 3, that it would make her and them more powerful entities, was my understanding. And their mom,
was that clear?
It wasn't like she had some line about like there was a reason so not the mother, and I'm forgetting their names now, not the mother of Lucinda, but their grandmother wanted them split into 3 because she was trying to fulfill some prophecy, and that they would be more powerful as 3 than 1.
When are we going to break the chain of letting mothers and grandmothers dictate how we live our lives? Let us fulfill our own destinies. Stop splitting us into 3 all the time.
Mania, which is Gothel's mother, and then Mania's mother was Nestor.
It was so clear. I'm sure there was a line where she was like we got to split them into 3. They're more powerful as 3.
The power of 3. I don't understand what you're not getting on this. It's 3.
It's 3.
Right.
You haven't picked up by now. Mother Gothel was 1 of 3.
Sometimes you got to spell things out for me. Sometimes
there's 3 sisters.
Yeah.
There's 3. The 3 odd sisters, and then Mother. Because remember, I brought this up when we were discussing Mother Knows Best. And it was Gothel and her 2 sisters. I was like, there's a pattern here of like 3 sisters, 3 sisters, the 3 fairies in Aurora's story. Like there's 3s, and so like 3 is a thing. It's a number. It's something in the magical realm is 3. So, there you have the Odd Sisters 3.
Yep.
There you go.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So it's very clear, James. Very clear.
Apparently.
Clear.
Clear.
I didn't really pick up on it. I don't know. Are we sure?
I don't know. If only there was
I only
somebody
have it in my
confirm
notes
this.
like 14 times.
If only there was an expert on this subject matter in the chat that could.
Does anybody know is it 3? I'm not sure.
Okay. We'll circle back on this. I don't think it's
Go back around to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the other note I had on that was a shocker on the creation of the Odd Sisters was what's his name? Oh my gosh. Jacob is the baby daddy?
Jacob's the baby daddy.
What?
Yeah, that one
was awesome.
threw me for a loop. I was like, the only one that could tame them, huh? Is Daddy.
That's why he looked at them crazy, because Daddy came and.
Yup. He was like, yeah, and I'm flashing back to Mother Knows Best when they show up, and he's like, and he's like, I know about these girls. I have a contingency plan of where you can hide. You got to get away from these girls. Trust me, I know them. And you're like, how does he know them? And he's like, because they're my spawn. So
They're my spawn. And it's just like they mama, so we got
crazy.
to go.
Yeah, we gotta go. You gotta get up out of here.
Somehow this is diverged into like an episode of Maury.
Who is the father of these Odd Sisters? Who is the father?
And then you've got this like skeleton shambling in. They're like, "Yeah, Jacob, you are the father."
He's like, no.
It's like,
No.
Stop my kid! Stop my kid!
They're his, Mari. Look at their hair, Mari. Look at their noses, Mari.
Look at those eyebrows.
I did not.
Those are his eyebrows, Mari. She just got his nose. They're all
only
his
met
babies.
her once.
Poor Jacob.
I don't know why Jacob's so aggressive. I only met her once.
He's actually quite a gentleman. I don't think he's
I know.
quite so aggressive.
Justice for Jacob.
Yeah, I know.
I just like doing these waggy voices. I don't know. Whether it makes sense or not is not my problem.
I'm sure they are not going to be pegging you for the next audiobook.
Or maybe they will. Whoever they are.
Disney Books.
Oh, yeah.
Disney Publishing.
Penguin Audio.
Penguin Audio.
Or like, I don't know why our audiobook sales will like tank this time. I don't know. You have this dude doing this straining voice the whole time. Doesn't change between characters.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
That'll be a
Put a British accent. It'll be Cruella. It's all.
I know. I'd love to hear your Scottish nanny and.
Yeah.
And
that's a Patreon exclusive there. I'm not giving that away for free. Jeez.
That's very difficult. I wouldn't even try. So anyway, and then we also get to check in on poor Mrs. Tittlebottom. Poor Mrs. Tittlebottom.
Like a glitch in the Matrix.
Taking her life away.
I feel so close to Mrs. Tittlebottom.
I was just gonna ask that. Were you having PTSD listening to her like just bake away at cakes and stuff?
Yeah, she's covered in cakes and just covered in stuff, and I'm at my day job going, girl, same. Let me frost this cake while I listen to this, girl, same.
Well, I'm just thinking, like after the end of Mother Knows Best, she's just left there. She has no idea, like, outside world, what's going on, like what happened. She's just like baking 24 hours a day. I'm like, somebody release this woman from her kitchen.
Baking birthday cakes over and over again. She doesn't even know why.
She seems pretty content. What do you? Yeah, I think she's good.
I mean, Lucinda, Ruby, and Martha, they do love their cake. So I mean, gotta go get it somewhere. So
we want 5 cakes a day.
5
cakes a day for life.
All eternity.
For eternity.
hand sculpted marzipan animals.
Oh yeah. Poor Mrs. Tittlebottom. Oh,
I was just like, she's broken. Like she's got an error code in her brain, and she's just like, they need to do something with her. She's stuck.
Yes.
Mrs. Tittlebottom.
I was like, somebody free her, because it's Snow. Snow and Cersei, as they're trying to stop/save the Odd Sisters. Right, they're going there because that's one of the last places when they were chasing down the Rapunzel flowers, and now apparently there's Rapunzel flowers everywhere. So all Mother Gothel needed to do was just hang out for a couple years.
Patience, my dear.
That's how it is with plants. Like you're just trying to push them along, and they go at their own pace. You can't force plants; they do them.
That's right.
You're talking some real stuff right now, there, Martha.
Got real deep. Got real deep on that plant tip. There's an entire chapter.
This? Breaking news.
Serena says there's an entire chapter devoted to cakes for the Odd Sisters in the book I'm writing now. What?
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Oh, what a teaser! This is exclusive information.
Little teases, Serena. I love them.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. Right here on Creepy Kingdom's Creepy Book Club. There will be a chapter dedicated to cakes
for the
in a upcoming book from Serena Valentino.
Oh,
for the Odd Sisters.
Well, I do declare that when we reach that chapter in that book, that we recreate not only the cakes, and by we I mean you, Gretchen, so we can eat them during the show.
Was she gonna fly out from Florida to bring us cake?
No, we have to do it. Well, we have to all be in the same place for it then.
We'll make it happen.
I mean, she's writing it now.
Come to my haunted mansion kitchen. So
yeah. I was saying, so by the time we get to that book, we'll be able to travel again, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, we're already like a few years behind right now, so so by the time it all evens out,
it'll happen.
Actually, we're close to catching up, right? Because we'll announce our next book, so no spoiler. I won't say yet. No. But I was going to say, I think we only have that one, and then the one that's being released this summer, and then her next book comes out next year. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Serena, but I think that's the schedule we're at. We're almost completely caught up.
Right.
We're close.
Totally unrelated. Taking back the Robert Smith thing. I'm feeling a little bit more like Jack White. That's kind of the.
I see.
I'm feeling more like that
it.
now. Yeah.
With the yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Jack White thing. And we slayed our technical director.
You killed John.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was worth interrupting when you were talking about it's important information like that.
John is deceased.
I agree.
Anyways, carry on.
Okay, so we got Rapunzel's growing again. Yes, we have Evil Thing.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that one. I'm so excited. One of my favorite villains. So excited. Anyways, which we will preview.
At the end of this show, we're gonna show you how excited we are about it.
Oh yeah. So Snow and Rapunzel find out that the Odd Sisters have gotten out of the dream realm somehow, some way. How So how could they have gotten out? Somebody had to let them out.
Somebody.
And somebody did. And for all you out there that want to say, you know, all you dog people, and I'm not shaming dog people. I'm not shaming you, okay? But as a cat person, I get tired of hearing dog people say, well, cats aren't loyal. That's why I like dogs, because cats aren't loyal. Well, let me tell you what this cat did, okay?
Yeah, I'm
Flans, the
suspect.
magical cat.
I'm suspect. I'm suspect still. I
Why
think
are
there's
you
ulterior
suspect?
motives. No, go on.
Do tell, James. Do tell.
No. I don't have it. I don't have a proclamation to make. I'm just saying that my instincts is that I'm suspect of the motivation. Loyalty was not the first feeling I have, and that's just my own personal baggage that I brought to the story about cats.
Serena said she's a dog person. No shade, Serena, for being a dog person. That's okay.
I am too. I am as well.
As a cat person, though, don't shade my cats. That's all I'm.
I don't know. Cats
asking
generally
for.
are jerks, and I think Flans definitely falls into that category of being a jerk. So that's why I think I'm just suspect when he's sacrificing himself.
Flans is very regal. Like, there's something about Flans. I kind of feel like Flans might actually be like a human in a cat form.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's kind of what I get. Like, you don't hear much about animals having these skills in any other real fashion, you know. So,
Serena loves
jerks, but I love them so
much. Me too.
They're sassy.
I love, because they're not jerks. They're sassy. I like that. They're It's just they have an attitude. They're not easy to please. And I like that about cats, that they're like, no, you need to play your cards right.
That says a lot about you, Tanitia.
Yeah. I am a cat in human form, after all. I'm the opposite of what we think science is I'm a cat that has transformed into a human. Maybe I traded bodies with Flans. Who knows? Wouldn't that be a twist?
Dun, dun, dun!
Tanisha is Flans and Flans is Tanisha.
It's a twist.
It is a twist. I do see that. I think I'm like, now I'm thinking of like Hocus Pocus. I feel like it's some sort of big situation of like some human got cursed into cat form. But I mean, but still, like, there's whoever Flans is, whatever Flan's story is, I feel like there's got to be some sort of loyalty or some sort of promise made between Flans and the Odd Sisters. Like, there's something.
Promise. I think
so basically, like he didn't do it out of. I'm sorry, he didn't like do it out of like blind love. There's a reason, like a motive.
That's kind of what I'm hitting at there. I don't think it was just like, yeah, you know, you guys are so cool, I'm just gonna sacrifice myself for you. No, I think that I almost think that if it didn't do it, that there would be some price to pay somehow. You know, there's no limits to what the Odd Sisters are capable of, as far as we know, and who they know, and I don't know. I just didn't see like, oh, I love them so much, so let me do this. I just that's not my vibe.
Like a life debt situation going on, like
maybe a little bit of that. Maybe it's like not even that. I'm thinking like if anything happens to us, and if you don't sacrifice yourself for us, we're gonna find out, and then we're actually gonna come back and kill you. That's actually what I think is going on.
Well, either way, Flans dies though. In either scenario, unless.
I mean, is Flans dead right now? I thought he was.
Well, the cat is right. Like the cat was, they described as the cat's lifeless body. But if it was a human trapped in a cat, I wonder if Flans was freed.
That was the last debt that they had to pay.
Maybe Flans is back in human form out there somewhere. Maybe. I don't know. Conspiracy theories.
Speculation.
Maybe. That would be interesting. I could definitely see that. like, he sort of brought them back, and in bringing them back, they're like, we'll free you from your cat body and you can resume human form, or I don't know, go to the dream realm. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I guess,
maybe that was like Flans' whole thing was to throw himself to revive them if ever. Like maybe he's like a mystical key that was created specifically to let them escape from the dream realm, because they probably would know that somebody is going to stick me in here eventually. So I should probably get an escape route put out.
True.
Who knows?
Or at least Lucinda would have thought that.
Lucinda was smart enough for that. That's for sure.
Do you think he could be like almost like a Horcrux? Oh, Flans is female. My bad. We are misgendering this cat.
Ever since I said his, I just had this thing. I'm like, I know I'm saying the wrong gender. But I just owned it and went with it. But we were corrected live on the air. My bad.
So
Flans.
sorry, Flans.
My bad.
Yes.
She's a lady.
Yes. Put some
She's a
respect on her name. So I don't know. Could be, or do you think she could be Horcrux type thing? Do you think she's like almost like Nagini to Voldemort?
No.
A Flans to the Odd Sisters.
Piece of her, like a little extra bit of their soul, kind of emergency escape hitch. I mean, because nobody's ever really dead. Like you can die, but nobody's ever really dead. They all come back.
Not in the fantasy world. No, they all come back eventually. I'm here for it.
Back.
We'll all come back for you. All right. So where are we at? Oh, go for it.
I was going to say Primrose and Hazel woke up.
Yes. Gothel sisters are back in the mix. They've been revived. Serena loves our theories. Are we right? Are we close? She won't tell us because that'll be spoilers. Could you imagine if she was like, that's exactly right?
I have it all laid out here. Let me send you a PDF.
I was like, we can bring you on, Serena, like right now. You can join the stream right now.
Tell us what happens. tell us all the things. We'll just sit and listen for the next 2 hours. I would be more than happy to.
The next 2 hours.
Tell me all the things. Tell me all the things. It's a lot of revelations.
There's a lot. So Primrose and Hazel, they're up. They're walking around. Gothel just needed to hold on.
They really did.
Apparently, yeah.
It really kind of hurts my heart because I'm like, dang, you could have just sat and had some cake with Tittlebottom for a couple years and it'd have been all good. Like, you had your sisters, everything you ever wanted.
Yep. The Rapunzels grew back. Then they were able to be revived. Like, oh, yeah. Kind of sad. Poor Gothel.
But yeah, I think it's very interesting that it shows that if she had just hung out, that things would have worked out for her, but that it didn't. It's poetic to have it play out this way.
Yeah, she doesn't get... Villains don't get happy endings.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's a matter of perspective.
What Disney villain has had a happy ending?
Well, no, you're right. I mean, for them, it's not happy, but everyone else is happy about it.
I mean, yeah, for the villain, there's no.
Yeah, right. Everyone else is really thrilled.
Everyone else is thrilled.
Not so much the villain.
No, the villain's kind of like, no, didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. Poor villains.
Yeah.
They're just misunderstood. I feel like that if there's one thing that this series has taught me is that they're all just sort of misunderstood and misguided in getting what they like. What they want is completely understandable. They just are really misguided in how to get there, right? If Gothel had just been patient.
I would like to add that I think a lot of the older films are really weak on character development of the villains. because they're just there to serve the purpose of being the villains. And that is a double-edged sword because you kind of fill in the blanks yourself as a kid, like you kind of create your own backstories maybe and all this stuff. But I think what's great about this series is that it really just filled in the blanks. And with that, yeah, you understand their motivations, and maybe you can become sympathetic to it. Maybe it's. I think I don't think the point of these stories is to be sympathetic. I think it's to to show the gray area, that there's some things you can relate to, but when it comes down to are you going to take the good path or the bad path? Where most of us would probably stay on the good path, they're like, we're just going to go this way. So that would have been a better thing to say at the top of the show when you asked me about the whole series, but I just thought of
it. We have no rules.
Yeah.
No rules. No one's making the rules here.
This is the mid-live stream non-spoiler review. We're going to put the non-spoiler review in the middle of the stream from now on. So you have to scroll, and it's like playing Russian roulette, like scroll and hope you don't stop on a spoiler.
They're all over the place.
It's madness.
It's quite odd.
Quite odd.
Quite odd.
I thought it was really nice that Circe and Snow White kind of like took Primrose and Hazel and was like, okay, let me show you what's gone on since you left. Like, let me help you kind of ease in, because they kind of just woke up and then they suddenly had like all these powers. Like they had all of Medea's powers because they were brought on by the Rapunzel. And so, like, they kind of woke up and didn't have any direction. So I was really, like, relieved to see that Circe and Snow White were there when they woke up. So they were able to kind of help, Circe could kind of guide them into this, like they just got freed from prison and they don't know what's going on in the real world. So it was a nice, easy transition to help kind of with that when they woke up.
Yeah, and they're all family, too. That's the other thing is you sort of, obviously, Circe essentially being made from the Odd Sisters is from the same bloodline as Gothel and her sisters, right? And then you find out that the Odd Sisters were adopted into Snow White's family, and so there's something also about that was just sort of nice. Of like, I just remember in a lot of different scenes where these characters were sort of meeting, and we were seeing them meet for the first time, but they were always describing the sort of emotional familiarity with one another. And you sort of realize it's, they're all family. They've all come from the same roots or similar roots. And so there's already that kind of bond there. And that Snow and Circe were there to kind of get them up to speed, help them figure out what's going on, and sort of how they're all part of one larger story, one larger narrative.
Yeah, and then they take them back to the Deadwood, so they finally get to return home after like all of the stuff, and they were corpses in the basement for Tittlebottom for like a million years, and now they get to go back home. So I think that's kind of fitting too, because it's like the whole family is kind of going back to their roots.
That's right. The motherland of the Deadwood, all of them going back, because we know that's where the Odd Sisters are headed, to, sort of culminate their powers and get ready to take on all the other powers that be. We also find out that the Odd Sisters have a plan to raise up another magical being to help them in their fight. Maleficent, they want to raise from the dead. And I was like, oh, well, this is going to go well.
What could possibly go wrong?
I'm raised from the dead.
It's like, you wanted me back. I am back from the dead.
Yes.
Yes, you rang. I'm sorry, I can't stop doing that voice.
Maleficent does not have a high register. She has a low register.
You rang, you fools!
Ooh.
Isn't the voice of Maleficent isn't it also Madame Leota voice? Is that the
Nope,
same?
that's Lady Tremaine.
Lady Tremaine.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I thought the voice of Lady Tremaine and the voice of Maleficent are the same person. Are they not?
Actually, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Right? Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, you
yeah.
should be very. So, in other words, James, you should be very familiar with what Maleficent's voice sounds
I should
like.
be. Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of like why I always think back, like why did I like connect with Madame Leota like so much? Is because she sounded so familiar the first time I heard her, because you grow up listening to her in all the movies. So yeah.
And it's that eyeliner.
Well,
The Leota cat eyes.
and physically she's beautiful. Yes, that's another reason I was there. but we're not talking about a book about Leota, so.
My point is, do the correct voice, James.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I want to make a high-pitched shrill voice.
Oh god.
That's just how I feel.
I get maybe she'll sound like that if she gets when she gets resurrected from the dead. She comes back with a super high register.
She's a little raspy. She's been underground. You know, she's been dead, so. Clear that out a little.
She needs to clear her throat out. Just give her a break. Don't be so hard on her. How do you sound last time you were resurrected from the dead?
I feel like my voice came back all right.
All right. Well,
I might
can't be you.
I might have been a little hoarse for a couple of days, but I feel like I got my voice back pretty quickly.
All right.
Oh no, you Gretchen? I don't know how was it for you?
It's easy for me because I just kind of grow out of the ground and then shake it all off, and I'm ready to go.
Perfect.
Well, that's exactly how I pictured your resurrection. That's exactly how I pictured resurrection there.
Yeah, exactly how it
happened. I just had this image of her like Jack Skellington just like rising.
Every morning, it's very annoying for my husband.
I was to say, Tim is all about it. All about it.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so Maleficent being resurrected.
Yeah, Maleficent's back. All right.
They are trying to bring Maleficent back. So that's happening. And then we go to the fairies, right? There's a whole fairy, or what? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, didn't that make you happy? And Maleficent came back. You were so sad when she died in her book.
Well, she's not back yet at this point of the book. Right now, they're just planning to bring her back, right? She's not.
They want to bring her back.
Yeah, they want to bring her back. We don't know yet, James. Spoilers.
Well, I mean, everything else they said they were going to do, they did. So I just assume
they're going to make this happen. The Odd Sisters, listen, they're
a tenacious
trio. Mm-hmm. They're going to make it happen. It's going
to
get done.
I don't have any doubt that they're going to make it happen. And shenanigans shall be had.
Shenanigans.
I love that we invented a new word.
Right.
Oh, the shenanigans.
That's a word I'm going to be using a lot because my domestic partner's name is Shannon, and I always say, "What shenanigans are you up to?" But now I can say the shenanigans you're up to is the shenanigans. So that's a whole new thing to bring into the mix of our dialogue at home. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Just like the Odd Sisters to say it at the same
time. So anyway, the fairy council. I love that all the fairies are like, "Oh crap, the Odd Sisters are back. We gotta call an emergency." And I like the idea that there's a fairy council. So I love
the tension. I love the tension in the room. Like, you think fairies are just like get along and just put differences aside to get stuff done. And there's just so much animosity and tension in that room.
But they got tea and they got cakes and they have a full smorgasbord.
It's well snacked up. If we're gonna talk, I'm gonna be eating some snacks.
I need some snacks. You got to give me some scones and some clotted cream before we start dealing with you.
And I love the Blue Fairy's involvement here. I think the Blue Fairy of all, like in the lexicon of Disney fairies, the Blue Fairy is one that just resonates with me for some reason. I just always so happy to see her and feel so comforted, when she's in my presence on the Pinocchio's daring journey.
I do not feel, for the record, I don't feel comforted by her presence on the Pinocchio because ever since, and I blame this on James.
I was about to say,
James told me, he was like, have you ever looked at the actual figure of the blue fairy on Pinocchio? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, you know how they do Pepper's ghost? And I was like, well, yeah. He's like, turn around at that part.
Oh,
and
it's so creepy. It's disturbingly creepy.
It is the scariest. Even though I knew to expect her there, when I turned and she was just like dark in the shadows, like,
oh my God, it's so creepy.
I was like, oh.
James is like, that's my blue fairy.
Yeah, James is like, that's my blue fairy.
That's part of my comforting. I cannot go on Pinocchio's daring journey and not turn around at that point and see her just lurking in the shadows, just staring there. Like, it's so scary. I love it.
It's so unsettling, and now it's so funny because I can never ride that ride without looking back again. Every time I've been on it, I'm like,
yeah,
Monsieur James.
and I cannot be on that ride with anyone and not make them turn around at that point. So if you ride with me.
So insider's tip, Creepy Kingdom, if you want a nice, Pinocchio is already a creepy ride, but turn around at the Blue Fairy and be really creeped out.
I guess it is exclusive. I've never heard anyone else talk about this on any Disney podcast.
Here we are.
Only me talking about it to people on the shows. So of course, this is my own discovery of creepiness. I'm proud of it. Anyways, I love the Blue Fairy. I love that Blue Fairy is a pretty one-dimensional character in Pinocchio. But I love, again, I fill in the blanks as a kid. The Blue Fairy makes it all happen in Pinocchio, and she's just so soothing.
I feel like she was Maleficent's only friend. I feel like if Maleficent had stuck around, they would have totally been pals in school, and I think she's the only one that was like, Maleficent should be here too. She's one of us. And that gave me a lot of respect for the Blue Fairy.
Yeah, she's good people.
Good people.
Blue Fairy's good people.
Yeah. I would say she's the voice of reason and of kindness. And I also like that, during this tense, fairy council session, at one point she kind of points out, because Nanny was the caretaker to Maleficent when she was young, and Nanny feels a lot of guilt that Maleficent went down this really dark path, and she couldn't help her. And so Nanny's just kind of like, oh, nobody was there for Maleficent. And the Blue Fairy was like, you were there. You were always supporting her. You were always fighting for her. You can't blame yourself. So, yeah, the Blue Fairy would have totally been her friend. Yes. Blue Fairy she's a sweetheart. She's good-natured. Now, those other three, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, they can get out of town, Jack. Okay, I was gonna say something not YouTube appropriate, but
well, what's great is that they're totally on brand because they're kind of like crappy people, fairies and all the other stories. In the original Sleeping Beauty, sure they took care of Aurora, but they still
did they though?
They didn't. Not really, because they didn't save her. But
yeah, they didn't do. They had one job. They had one job.
Right, you're right. That's actually, it's proving my point. Is that they're so focused on whatever's going on with them that they screwed it up. Oh boy. You can't say that on the show.
They're mean girls. They're mean girls.
The queen has said, and we agree.
The queen, yes, the queen has declared. Yes, those are mean girls.
And if there's anyone listening to the podcast version of this, you have to go to the live show to know what was just said.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, all she said was frog those batches, right? She's talking about cookies. Frog those batches.
Yeah, that's a baking term.
Crock those batches.
Yes,
that's what I understood.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Okay,
yeah, makes sense.
I love it.
But yeah, anyways, I love the tension and animosity and the bitterness of this fairy meeting. If you would say like, James, describe a fairy meeting to me, and I'd be like, oh, hello, I love you, we're so great and so happy. But it's like, oh,
Let's
look
throw
at you.
glitter.
Oh, and they're just like, they're so snarky and nasty. I just pictured it all so like vividly. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the book, oddly enough.
It's like a mad tea party full of mean girls.
Yeah,
It really was. Honestly, it was my favorite scene of the book for sure. Like I really enjoyed. That was one chapter section that I rewound and re-listened to just because I loved all the back and forth. And then the fairy godmother too was so sassy.
yeah, she kind of seems like she would be. She's all like, she's really conveniently there right on time for Cinderella, but she seems like you could she could just go off the rails at any moment. So I wasn't surprised by her attitude.
She's a little unstable.
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's fine.
Yeah, but the fairies were definitely much more sassy. Yeah, you would think fairies like butterflies and rainbows and glitter and whatever. And no, they were like
they were
savage.
They weren't people I want to hang around.
No. It was like almost like a real housewives dinner. It's ready for a table to be flipped at a certain point.
I'm unfamiliar. How does that go?
It goes like this.
The Real Housewives of Fairyland?
Yeah, yes. the real housewives of Fairyland. Yes.
But they're not housewives.
The real it would be the real fairies of the Fairylands.
Real fairies of Fairyland.
Look how much bigger our faces are now on the screen.
Why is my head so big?
Wow, you're really full of yourself there, Martha. Your head is huge.
Martha's taking over. Can't you see that we're all triplets? We're all triplets. You can't tell
we gotta pose. Let's pose.
All right.
Really good for a live stream.
For the audio listeners, we just had a little photo session. Anyway, so yeah, this fairy council meeting, they are prepping for the Odd Sisters. They know the Odd Sisters are trying to bring Maleficent back. Obviously, the fairies have bad blood with Maleficent because she burnt down all the hood. So they don't want her back.
The whole hood.
The whole hood. She burnt the whole
burn
hood
it
down.
Like, okay, burn this down.
She's coming back. So yeah. So they're prepping for war, which was very like, I just remember feeling very like peak tension at this point of the book of like, oh my gosh, is there going to be, and my mind started going, is there going to be like a huge like battle scene? And I was like, how is that going to work?
With like the tree lords stalking.
Yeah, I know, because Oberon came in there.
Coming in. It looked like Avengers Endgame. Here we are back to the Avengers Endgame. It opens up and tree lords and fairies come out of like little portals everywhere.
With their little wands, just like choo, choo.
All of the pew pew pews.
Pew.
Pew to the pew pew.
Pew pew pew.
Bibbidi bobbidi
Boom,
boom.
boom. Give me all the fairy battles. Oh my gosh. If they ever make a live action of this series, I hope I need a fairy battle. I need a fairy battle.
You bring up something I want to bring up too. No better time than now, which is as I was consuming this story, I wanted this to be its own film, and I don't know how it would work, because I was thinking about it, it's like you picture it live action, but these versions of the villains are the associated with their animated versions. So, so then like, would an Odd Sisters movie have to be animated? This would be funny if I wasn't drinking. Well, Well, I don't know about that.
I want an Odd Sisters movie done by Blumhouse.
So you want live action? Yeah, I think
I
we
want
mentioned
it live action.
I would want live
like,
action too.
full on
Yeah,
psycho.
but the interactions with the villains we know are the animated versions.
That's true. We
So
could
that's-
just, I mean, technology, James. We'll just put it in there. It'll
So
make
this would
it
be
happen.
like
It'll
Space
look like Who
Jam,
Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
I'd watch that show.
I'd be here for it.
I would pay-per-view that for sure.
I say that like there's any question like I would watch it. Of course I would watch that. If that would be absolutely incredible.
That would be so cool. But I mean, I could see them casting the villains and just like making them up and dressing them to the animation style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would want to see that. We need cartoons and live action Odd Sisters.
Well, the Queen disagrees with you, sir. The Queen has spoken, and she said she wants live action. I second that, Serena. If there's a petition you need me to sign,
Serena didn't necessarily go
Do I
against
need
what
to
I
send
said.
a strongly worded email to somebody?
Yeah.
No.
Who do I need to make cookies for? That's
yeah. Gretchen will start baking right now. Miss Tittlebottom style. She'll get in there.
I would get in there like a robot.
And just to be clear, I'm pitching live action Odd Sisters animated Disney villains. So I'm talking about a hybrid. So I'm not saying that it should all be animated. I'm saying that's what I want to see.
Okay.
But then who would be, my question is, who would be the live action players in this animated world? Would the Odd Sisters be the only live action characters?
Yeah, it literally makes no sense. I'm just telling you what I want to see.
Because I was like thinking, I was like, the only characters that we haven't seen in animation before are the Odd Sisters, Jacob, Flans, Gothel sisters,
Tulip, and all
Tulip, Cersei, yeah.
Cersei.
You know, here's a pitch. What if we did a Muppets movie and we only had one? So the only human characters are the Odd Sisters, and the whole rest of the cast are Muppets.
No, because Miss Piggy needs to play Lucinda.
Uncle Dudley needs to play one of the Odd Sisters.
Uncle Dudley would be Jacob. Come on. I feel like this is a whole other podcast. Serena signs off on it.
Amazing.
Oh my God, we should do once we like finish the series, we should do like a dream casting or something. That would be fun.
Yes.
That'd be fun to do a podcast just like if this was turned into a live action movie or TV series. That would be fun. James, we're pitching it. We're pitching the softball. Are you gonna swing?
Yeah. Who are you asking?
Go Sports.
Go Sports Ball. And I was like, who are you?
Sports.
All right, let's keep on heading towards home here. Keep the sports analogies going.
All right. Anyway, we will work to get James to agree to doing a podcast, dream casting of a live action movie or TV series
from the dream realm.
There are no rules. We'll probably do it anyway.
Yeah, we'll do it anyway, and James will have no choice but to post it. So anyway.
I make the rules.
There are no rules.
There are no rules.
Yeah, keep going. Oh wow.
All right. What?
No, keep going. I might disappear and come back. But you ladies keep running the show.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. You're going to the dream realm for a bit?
Yeah, I gotta go to the dream world. Bring me to the dream world, technical director.
Okay. God, he's gone. Now we can do what we want anyway.
Now we can do whatever we want.
No, keep me out of here.
Okay, so we have Oberon and Annie leading the charge. Like, let's prepare for these Odd Sisters coming. So the tension is building. Things are getting exciting. And then Grimhild goes to the mirror to warn Snow the Odd Sisters are coming for you. Like, you need to get out. And Grimhild, again, it's her one thing is protecting Snow and saving Snow.
Cares about in the whole wide world is protecting Snow.
Yeah.
I don't really know why they hate her so much though. Like,
I don't either. That's
loathe her.
Yeah, I thought I was alone on that. I was like, I wonder if I'm missing something that, like, what am I missing, some explanation as to why the strong hate on for Snow? Because they were mean to Snow when she was just a little kid and hadn't done anything yet. They were really cruel to her.
It's almost like they hated her before she was even born. Like,
yeah.
They hated
I don't know.
her fetus.
They're like the thought of her existing. So I'm curious. Okay, so I feel like I'm glad that I wasn't. Oh, look at that! You magicked yourself out of the dream realm, just like
I need friends to do it.
So we were talking about how Grimhild is warning Snow, and how. So me and Gretchen are on the same page that we still don't understand why the Odd Sisters have such a strong hate for Snow. And I'm curious, James, if you had any thoughts on that, or if you're kind of like us, like wondering if this is going to be revealed more later, or.
Yeah, I'm with you two. I have no idea. I mean,
it's curious though.
Yeah,
it's like it's a deep hate.
Well, yeah, because I was saying, like, this. I mean, obviously, this book, it's highlighted like they're coming for Snow, they're going to kill Snow. But even when you go back to the very first book, they were just like cruel to Snow when she was little, with seemingly no instigation at like why they were treating her so terribly when she was a little kid, and now she's a fully grown adult and they're like coming for her again. And so I was kind of like, did I miss a piece of the story here, or maybe some seeds are getting planted that Snow seems to be at the center of all of this, and I'm curious if something's going to get revealed about Snow being somebody else, destined for something else. I'm not sure.
Like perhaps a prophecy that they might know about.
Is she the Harry Potter of this series? Is Snow the prophesied, like,
can live
on the other side? It'd be interesting because why else are they after Snow so hard?
That's really interesting. I wonder, it's like, how did like what's going on in the White family that she possesses something in her person that they want to destroy. Like, what happened when she was born? That's what I want to
know. Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering when would this reveal take place?
In the future, Lucinda.
It's gonna be. It's going to be in the same chapter as the cakes.
That cake chapter, we're going to learn everything.
That cake chapter.
We're going to learn it all.
All the secrets. Oh, that would be funny.
Secrets are always in the cakes. I do love that they found the Odd Sisters journal, and they were reading into the journal to kind of like get what's going on, like maybe get an idea of their thought and their psyche and stuff. And I love how they were mentioning things like the teacups, and I talked about why are they like stealing these people's teacups, and it's like you find out that they've been like spelling people constantly, and every teacup is like a spell they've cast on somebody.
Yeah, you had mentioned that last live stream that you were picking up all the teacup references.
Yeah, so it comes out in a book that like the teacups must touch the lips of their victim. So it's like they make a tea for their victim and have them sip out of it, and then they keep that teacup as like a talisman to like be a mad controller of things. And I was like, that's pretty freaking cool. I enjoyed that.
Oh, Serena, are you talking about the reveal of why they hate snow? Did we all miss it? Did we all, or is she talking about the teacups? She's like, I was sure it was in the Odd Sisters. We
Maybe
might
I
have,
missed it.
we might have missed
Oh,
it. Oh,
that's terrible.
I know that's
That's
terrible.
embarrassing.
I know. Well, because I was like, it was funny because so when I read, I tend to like, I'm a big picture person. So like I read a book and I tend to miss a lot of small details, but like I pick up on sort of like emotional connections. Okay, so we did miss it. Shoot.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
We
okay.
we're
have to
terrible people.
revisit.
We have to
We're gonna
revisit
go
it.
back.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I tend to be like, I pick up on emotional connections and themes and things like that. And Gretchen is the detail oriented one. So usually she's the one I rely on to like, have the
This is all your
details.
fault, Gretchen.
So I was like, oh, if Gretchen doesn't recall, so then it must not have been revealed, because if Gretchen doesn't recall, then
And I don't know anything.
but it was.
I'm just
You're just
going through the
Lucinda.
I'm going through my notes, and I was looking at like things from the Odd Sisters journals, and they were talking about like objects that they want to procure for certain reasons. So they're talking about like some jade earrings and a seashell necklace of power, and gold earrings to break sisters' bond. So I'm wondering if I need to read back through.
Oh, I feel less bad. She said she might have revealed it later.
Okay.
Because okay, that makes sense. As the author, I get it, because for you're thinking you have a full
Oh,
story
you've got the whole big picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got the whole story going on in her head, so that's fair. I give that to her. Okay, maybe I'm probably gonna have to reread and go back, or it might be coming up.
I'm
But it
curious
will
to
be revealed.
reread when she talks about these magical items in their journals. Like that's something that maybe I need to go back through, because they start like, it's almost like you kind of get this idea of what they're after to create their like ultimate of whatever they're trying to create, because they're talking about like the seashell necklace of power, the emerald brooch of heartbreak, and the gold boot buckles of envy and things like that. So um, I'm wondering if there's something more in these journals that might be revealed or that I missed. That's kind of what I'm wondering.
Yeah, and also, can I just say, when I was reading, as they were listing through the items, my Disney villain heart was nerding out so hard at like knowing what each of those references was, because I was like,
Yes.
I think she said something about the mask pendant of the Shadow Man, and I was like, it's Dr. Facilier. And then when she said the gold buckles, I was like, hook, the boot buckles, hook, and like I was like, in my head just started pinging off all the different villains, and I was like so excited. I know, Serena, you said there's certain villains you won't touch, but there's so many villains that I want to see interact with the Odd Sisters. So many. The journals
Tell all. Yeah, I took a lot of notes in the journals, and I'm like going back and going, okay, the mask pendant, and then we've got the skull brooch, and who's the skull brooch? And I'm like going through, and it's like that's the exciting part, is those kinds of details. And I'm kind of intrigued about like, what does Ruby, Martha, and Lucinda's teacup cabinet look like? Because like they got a lot of dishes. None of them match.
so many dishes.
So many dishes.
So much tea has been sipped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Were you nerding out, James, when were you catching all of the Disney villain references when they were going over all those like talismans?
In the journal?
Yeah.
Yeah, for everyone, I had to hop out for a second, so I know exactly what I was talking about. But yeah, of course, and of course, yeah, the Dr. Facilier one, that was fun. I love more clues that there's more characters in this universe, and going to the journal like that definitely dropped a lot of breadcrumbs. Got me excited.
I know, I'm so excited, and I'm still I don't know if Serena probably won't tell us who her next villain is. I know she's been teasing the next villain she has in the pipeline, that it's a male. And I don't know if she gave any other clues, but I'm like,
Oh, she's the queen of breadcrumbs. I'm like,
I know. So like literally all the little clues in the book, I'm like, is it Hades? Is it Hook? Is it Frollo? Is it? I'm like, ah.
whatever breadcrumb you drop, I'm gonna pick it up.
Gaston?
Gaston.
Maybe. I feel like we kind of saw him in Beast Within, though. I mean, I guess you could tell his own story, but
I don't want to hear it. He's a jerk.
yeah, I was gonna say Gaston is probably like, yeah, he's like the worst villain in my mind because he's too real. Like I know Gaston's in real life, you know.
His
like,
name's Jeremy, and he drives a pickup truck.
An F-150.
That's right.
Yep. I know some Gastons, but anyway.
And there's a tangent.
Yeah. So they're coming for Snow. We may find out why they're coming for Snow. We got to do our research.
Yeah.
And so the Odd Sisters end up showing up, and
we're here.
Oh, I love the Odd Sisters, but when they hurt my Grimhild, I was like, no.
little heart.
Yes, they took down the evil queen, and I was like, how could you? Yeah, they killed Grimhild in the mirror realm. And then they sort of come out of the mirror, which if that in live action, I'd love to see. I feel like this scene of them just like emerging and being like, we're here.
I kind of got chills reading.
I got goosebumps talking about it. Like it's such a beautifully written scene. It's so like graphic. I love it. It's just dang. I'm like, I work and read at the same time, and I'm working, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to stop. Like, I'm not getting anything.
Play that again.
It's too exciting.
I know. I definitely want to see it. Like that visual of these, you know, because they're described, you know, as you can see clearly, because we're spitting images of them.
Broken dolls.
You know, these broken dolls. You know, I mean, I'm sure they're a little paler than me.
No.
I have, you know.
It's just the lighting.
Yeah, the lighting, and also that I'm a person of color, so they're definitely paler than me. But you know, the dark curly hair, the you know the ghostly white skin, and these bright red lips, and you know, and then just picturing them creepily coming through the mirror, like I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like I want to see this. So yeah, here's to hoping, you know. So yeah, so they come out and they're ready to throw down. They're ready to fight.
They're mad.
They're mad.
They're like, they're not even trying to protect Cersei anymore. They're like, no, we're done. We're coming after you.
Yeah, all of y'all are going down. Like we're sick of y'all coming for us. This is it.
Don't be good.
Yeah, let's go. And then it kind of it jump cuts to the fairies, which was kind of jarring when I was reading it, because I was like, wait, no, I want to see what's going on back there. Like, stay with Odd Sisters. But I realized that it was because they wanted to have that reveal of Maleficent, right? That Maleficent, they did bring her back, but quickly that dragon just was gone, and it was over and defeated. And the big reveal was that the Odd Sisters didn't stand a chance, because while they were ready to fight, they weren't ready for the very sad, yes, there she is. And I love that you have a Maleficent for every occasion, Jade.
Yeah,
like you're ready with
this is your battle, Maleficent.
It is perfection.
I only collect 2 characters of Funko Pops, or Maleficent and Bellatrix. So I try to have them all. So
perfection. I don't know. We needed this whole collection when we did.
You didn't
Mistress
invite
of
me
All
on the
Evil.
show. What? You didn't invite me on the show. Thanks.
I wasn't aware you had a Maleficent collection. I would have known.
I didn't know I had to pass your criteria to get on the show.
Well, you do now. Now you know.
Yes. Now you know to submit an application, and you need to list your qualifications
and a full PDF of your Funko Pop collection.
Yes, correct.
Duly noted.
That's where you need to apply to get into Creepy Book Club.
Yes.
Anyway,
okay.
so we find out that our dear Cersei, because she's all the goodness that ever was, realizes that the one way to get rid of her mothers is to off herself. Because they're so tied directly to her. So she takes her own life.
Yeah, I didn't believe it. It's one of those things you're like, nah, that didn't just happen. Is that real? Is that real?
Yeah, because it was so quick. It was just like, oh yeah, she must have. We know what Cersei must have done, and then it cuts back, and it's like Cersei's dead, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's happening here? What now? Who knows now?
Yeah, she did she give Snow White her blood before she did that? Like, I feel like she gave something to Snow White.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Nobody ever really dies.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. I'm like, this isn't real.
Yeah. But for all intents and purposes, currently
dead.
Currently dead.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Well, and then especially once we get to ultimate ending, but
the story will never end.
Never ends. So she did.
Oh, she did. Okay. Yes.
Called it. Okay.
So I knew I had that in my notes for something.
Yeah. So, well, and then it's interesting because where we ultimately end, right, is that they're all again in this sort of state of limbo, kind of this in-between dream realm world. The Odd Sisters, poor Miss Tittlebottom.
Miss Tittlebottom.
Making away even in the afterlife. She's like, all right, gotta crank out these cakes.
You did so good on Earth while you're here. Can I get a forest cake?
While you're here for eternity.
While you're here for eternity, can you just keep cranking out those cakes? Poor Miss Tittlebottom. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the ending was very cliffhangery and Serena, we're on to you, okay? I've read enough of your books to know when you're planting seeds and you're setting things up, and I need to start being prepared for something because they're all in this dream realm, and we're kind of left with this idea that the Odd Sisters are left with a choice. Now, what that choice is, we don't know exactly, but that this does not, and then I think somebody even says, I don't remember if it's Nanny or one of the fairies makes some comment of it doesn't have to be this way, or this doesn't have to be their fate. Which leads me to believe that this is not the last of Cersei or the Odd Sisters. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that cliffhanger ending?
It gave me vibes like the last episode of Seinfeld where they're all sitting in the diner just talking to each other at the end, and it just pans out because I just picture Tittlebottom baking cakes and they're all sitting at the table drinking tea, and the camera pans out and that's what you got, and it's like, well, wait, what's going to happen now? How's this going to go down? And I'm so excited to read the next book because of that, because they're still deciding what to do. Yeah, they're kind of planning their life. That's a luxury that we all wish we could afford, to be able to sit down and actually plan your life. What shall I do?
What's my next move?
Like Gretchen said.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. It left me very excited. I was like, okay, good. Because when I first was like, Cersei killed herself and the Odd Sisters are dead, I was like, that's it. I mean, obviously, I know there's more villains books in the series, but I was like, no, I don't want them to go off this way. Like, I want more.
It's really well done though, because it kind of puts them in a spot where it's like, we can now set them off to the side a little bit so that we can take another fork. And then that way, when we come back, you'll know where they're at. This is where they're at. And now we'll be ready to move with them again.
Like I'm not anticipating that this story is going to pick up in the next book. I feel like it's kind of a pause that maybe we're going to go down a whole other path and hopefully it all ties together. Or maybe
I agree.
Yeah, maybe it does. We don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. But that's kind of how I feel about it.
Oh. We have confirmation, so we return to them in Cold Hearted.
Okay. So 2 books.
Yeah, so they're not going to be. So this next book, which what a better time than now to announce.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Our next creepy book club.
Creepy book club. Obviously, we're continuing with the Disney Villain series by Serena Valentino. So it should be no surprise to anyone that the next book for our May book club is going to be Evil Hearted by Serena Valentino. Evil Hearted.
You mixed up Cold Hearted.
She wrote a whole nother book of Cruella and Lady Tremaine getting together. No.
Wow. Little Catwoman Poison Ivy. Harley and Poison Ivy. Anyway,
Poison Ivy, there you go.
But what's really exciting is that this is like a whole Cruella month, because the next month is when Cruella, the live action film, which looks absolutely incredible. That new trailer just dropped yesterday. Just blew me away. The excitement for this movie keeps going through the roof, and we're just going to tie it all together with we're doing a book club for this book. I will not be on it, so I'll let you two just take the reins.
Wait, are you? So you're not dressing? If I dress Cruella, you're not going to dress as a puppy on the night?
Wow. Well, now
I thought.
I'm getting on Amazon right now looking up Dalmatian onesies. What are you talking about?
I thought you were going to dress as my puppies.
All right. I'll think about it. I've never had this opportunity before, so I have to ponder. I don't want to miss the opportunity to dress like a Dalmatian live on the internet. Or
would it be funnier if we were Dalmatians and James was Cruella? Because I kind of want to see James in his Cruella voice for book club.
We'll have to have a band meeting.
I was to say I think we might pause on my taking on female characters. I'm not saying in my cosplaying. I mean, I don't know how I could top this. I mean, this is so good.
Perfection. Perfection, James.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Peter Porter can be a Dalmatian.
Yes, he can.
Oh yeah, and then Serena mentioned. So Cruella, the movie's coming out. Evil Thing is going to be our next book club, and she's coming out with an Evil Thing graphic novel this year. This is the year of Cruella, y'all. I just feel like it is such a Cruella de Vil year. She's getting all the shine this year.
It's gonna be. I'm so here for it.
Here for it. Here for it. Yes. All right. So that's going to be next month's book club. Any final words from the Odd Sisters? We have the Odd Sisters live here now.
Well, I would say that I absolutely adore the Odd Sisters. I want more of the Odd Sisters. I think that they are brilliantly written characters, and I think they deserve to be inserted right into the Disney universe, because they are just a delicious, devious group of women, and I love them.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. I'm gonna put it out. Listen. So I know it's under Disney Books. So Disney Plus. If you're listening, I'm sure they are. I don't know.
They're definitely listening.
Definitely listening.
Yeah.
I would love for this to be a series on Disney Plus. I would eat it up.
Give us a series.
I would definitely watch that on repeat.
Binge us.
We love you too, Serena. And also, I want to take this opportunity to give us another special shout out to Serena, because yes, it was her birthday, and we wish her all a very happy birthday. But I also want to say, like, she's been incredibly supportive and reactive to our book club. When she found out that we were doing this whole book club, series and diving into all of her books, like, she's been just so supportive and positive about it and reassuring about it. And so I just wanted to say, yeah, we love you. We really appreciate it so much. Yeah.
You're making me feel feelings.
Thanks for supporting everything we do here.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And thanks for the real-time commentary on tonight.
Yeah, that was exciting. I know.
Awesome.
Yes, happy birthday, Serena. And thank you for writing these books and giving us so much to talk about. And we're all obviously, we appreciate you. If it wasn't for you making these books and writing these books and creating them, us sort of, creepy bookworms, Disney villain fandom, we have some rich material to talk about and get excited about and pumped about. So this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, she gave us the justice for the villains that we just absolutely loved. And I think that, being a spooky kid who loves villains, it's nice to see them have an actual story, like, instead of just being the bad guy. Like, you get to know them and kind of like develop almost like a relationship with them, because you kind of relate to the characters even more. Like, man, I totally feel your pain.
It's so true. Like, and especially I think as you grow into adulthood, as a kid, you kind of watch those Disney movies and like James had mentioned earlier, like the villains tended, in the past, I think they've done a little differently recently, but in the past, the villains were very two-dimensional. They were there to serve the purpose of being the bad person, and that was it. And so, as a kid, I sort of accepted, like, they're bad, Evil Queen bad, Snow White good, like, black, very black and white when you're a kid. But as you grow into an adult, and especially myself, like, I like to know how people work and how people tick, and so I found myself sort of being like, why are the villains this way? Why was the evil, what was motivating the Evil Queen? Is it really that she was just jealous that Snow White was pretty? Because to me, I'm like, the Evil Queen's gorgeous. She's beautiful. But you start to kind of question what is behind these characters. And
she added color to a black and white world.
Exactly. Like, I love exploring this gray area. I love getting to sort of have a backstory to explain, how did Ursula get pushed to that point? How did Maleficent get pushed to that point? I think it just makes their stories more rich. And then even like part of me gets excited to then go back and rewatch the old Disney movies, with now this additional sort of story happening in my head of like all the villains been through and what got them there. So
yeah, well, I totally do that, by the way. After each book, I rewatch the films that they're based on. So it's fun filling in the blanks.
Make our heart happy too.
Yes. So much. And James, you were saying something before you got disconnected there?
I don't know what I was saying. I was more worried about my technical difficulties, so I don't even know what I was saying.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So I want to thank everybody who's tuned in, who will tune in and rewatch, do the replay on YouTube. I want to thank the Queen herself, Serena Valentino, for, again, writing these books, hanging out with us tonight, which has been amazing. I loved having, your commentary and letting us know if we're on the right track and if we missed something. It's always awesome to kind of get that straight from the source.
It's been an honor to have you. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
so much, so much. And of course, I want to thank the Lucinda and Martha to my Ruby.
Oh,
Gretchen and James.
I think I'm frozen. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah,
okay. I'm frozen. I'm not just staying really still. Technical difficulties, folks, but it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And thanks for giving me an excuse to dress up like this.
Anytime. If she writes an Odd Sisters 2, we'll have the wigs ready. We'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get together in person like this. I think the next creepy tour we need to do an Odd Sisters thing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Serena.
Lovely. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Creepy Book Club. We will see you next month when we read Evil Thing.
Evil Thing.
So anyways, you stay creepy, bookworms. We'll see you on the next Creepy Book Club.
Bye.